So in today's video, the filament that I've chose to use is a TPU with the Shaw hardness of 65A. So 65A is generally very soft filament. As you can see over here, it is super soft. So it's going to be very hard to print with the normal printer settings, and that's why we will be modifying the printer settings today. So before we start printing, in my last video I actually advised you guys to use a top spool mount to hold a if you were to print a very soft filament. So that's why first we have to install this into the top mount, and then we'll be ready for printing. So there are three main steps in modifying the extruder of the printer. The first step, you have to remove the cover, and then the second step is to loosen the cutter knife using this screw over here, and then the third is to remove this extruder assembly. We won't be touching or removing the hot end assembly, as this part will be fixed. We'll just be modifying because the extruder gears are here, and the gears play an important role in feeding the filament to the hot end. So let's dive into it. So to loosen the screws, you can use the Allen key provided when you purchase a Bambu Lab, or if you have misplaced it, you can buy a new one. So after removing the extruder assembly from the printer, there's 4 main screws over here which you have to loosen. So once we have loosened all the 4 screws, we can now remove this part over here. Be careful when you're removing. So this yellow gear is the idler gear. This is the gear that plays a crucial part in feeding the filament into the nozzle hot end. So therefore, we will be reducing the tension by loosening this part of the screw over here. So this screw, if you guys notice, it controls the tension applied to this gear during feeding process. So for now, the normal default setting, when you purchase a Bambu Lab printer, the screw is fully tightened over here. So we are going to loosen this part to enable our soft filament to pass through this and go into the nozzle hot end. So let's go on with that. So as for my calculation, I will normally loosen the screw to 8 turns. That was 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so now we can proceed to reassemble our extruder assembly. So now, if you guys notice, when you're reassembling this extruder, you can notice that this part, there's a screw over here, the screw that we loosened cannot fit inside due to this blockage. So I am now going to loosen 2 screws over here. Don't worry, it's completely fine. You can loosen the screw so that this thing can be loosened and slightly carried to the right. Therefore, the screw can fit inside the extruder assembly. So now this thing can be loosened, so therefore this extruder can fit inside. So we carry this and slightly push it in. Alright, So yeah, the position might be a little how to say, not satisfying to look at due to this angle orientation over here, but it's completely fine. You can still proceed to print. However, there's a modification that can be done. So in future purposes, if you want to continue printing with a soft filament, you can do a small hole over here. A hole as in you can drill the hole, or you can cut this part out. The video on how to remove this part of the printer, so don't worry. For now we can just proceed with this, as I just want to show you the steps of uh, inserting a soft filament into this printer. Okay, now we have fit all the parts inside the extruder. So the next part is to install the soft TPU filament into this extruder assembly. For that, we'll be manually doing based on the settings over here. You'll be increasing the temperature. As for TPU, I'll increase it to 218. And then once it has reached its desired temperature, you can proceed to feed this filament into the extruder. So normally this will take several tries, because since you've adjusted the tension of the screw, it has to like properly fit inside the new tension. Therefore, first try or second try won't be possible. You have to do it multiple times. So let's first try it. So once you insert it inside, there'll be a blockage. So that's when you know you have to stop. And that's the gear part of the extruder. Then increase the temperature. At the same time, go to E and try to slide the filament in. So as you can see, the yellow gear, if you notice, it's moving. But I don't still feel a suction there. It still could not feed in, which means I believe the tension gear is very loose. So if this case happens and you have to tighten or loosen the screw again, you can't afford to open all the screws, and it's a very tough and hassle stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'll be opening the two screws at this left side and then removing the whole part of this extruder. So let's go on with that. Be careful when you're removing it. Okay. So I will try to maybe tighten it a bit. Okay. And let's try fitting in again. Nope. Nope, it's not pulling in, so tighten a bit more. Honestly, this is so annoying, guys. How do I fit? Please, man. So what I'm gonna do is loosen it one half round, then try again, loosen it half more, try to make it fill again. Loosen it a bit more. So yeah, as you guys see, this is the most difficult part of printing the soft filament. It won't just go in. Maybe I'll try tightening it. Mm. Okay. So guys, printing soft filaments can be a very big challenge, as I've shown in this video, especially filaments that are not commercially used in printers. For example, TPU 65A, which I used in this video, due to its soft properties. So therefore, the modifications that was done in this video was necessary. I hope you guys found it useful. Once you guys got the correct tension by adjusting the screw, you will eventually be able to feed the filament inside the nozzle hot end. So that's one big part done. The second part is to print it out. So there'll be another video which I'll be making on printing this TPU filament. Therefore, thank you for watching and stay tuned.